Today's video was brought to you by the Amino app. Amino is the best place online to connect with people who share common interests as you. Are you a big fan of video games and animation? Well, so are thousands of others, as Amino has the community for every interest you can imagine, with interests stemming from your favorite TV shows, hobbies, interests, and even YouTubers. There is a community for you. If you're getting into animation, character design, character creation, or even just doodling, Amino's got thousands of communities that will be perfect for you to join up and be a part of. I personally love looking through the anime communities like One Piece and My Hero Academia and other communities to stay on top of forum chats about the latest manga and episodes. I also like the animation communities to always get a look at other people's creations. It's a nice way to check out what kinds of creations people are making and gives pointers or even some encouraging words to people sharing their stuff. Plus, some of your favorite animating YouTubers even have their own communities on Amino as well. I hopped into Tony V Toons Amino, Domix Amino, and so much more. Amino boosts confidence. Every aspiring creator needs a place to share their work. And before I found out about Amino, my only means of showing my work was here on YouTube. But now with Amino, I'm able to post a lot, because not only are there thousands of communities to share with, they're very supportive. Like, actually supportive. Like, if you publish something, a real live human will say something awesome about it. It's amazing. Amino also has a new feature called Avatar Chat. It allows you to video chat with other artists around the world by creating your own custom avatar, or choosing a pre-created one. So join a community on Amino today. Links down in the description below. There comes a time for us all where we grow up under our parents' wing, learn the ins and outs of society, and finally come to the young, tender age to make the decision to finally move out. In some really uncommon scenarios, the person already has the money to pay and afford their own rent, but in most situations, moving out requires moving in with some roommates, and that's where a lot of tension can build. From nice, respectable roommates to the ones who don't care for your space or your presence, the scenarios that could play out with moving in with roommates are endless. However, in today's news story, I'm not necessarily going to be focusing on the idea of a roommate, but rather on a personal situation that my girlfriend is currently in, and that is, well, with her terrible roommate, Heather. So when I met my girlfriend 4 months ago, I had learned from what she had told me that she lived in a nice house with 3 other people. One guy named Johnny and 2 girls named Mia and Heather. Johnny being the son of the landlord and also being with one of the girls, Mia, and Heather being single and living there by herself in the house with them. Now, since I've been with my girlfriend, she has told me countless stories of tension rising in the household, as Heather has been causing a lot of unnecessary drama. Drama stemming from Heather trying to ruin Mia and Johnny's relationship by trying to get with him in the house, causing fights amongst everyone for no reason, being completely inconsiderate for everyone's space in the house, and even got with a married man one night. So, as you can tell, this woman really doesn't care for other people. With all these stories I kept hearing from my girlfriend, I had never personally been around to fully witness this situation play out myself, since I'm not over there often with how much tension seems to always be going on there. However, one night last week, I had for the first time truly seen how terrible of a person this woman is, and allow me to explain what happened. So to reiterate, I live in Toronto currently, but I'm from Newfoundland, and we recently just had someone very close to myself and my family pass away suddenly, and I made the decision to fly back home to be with them. With everyone grieving and myself being in shock over this, I had bought a ticket to fly home right away after I had heard the news about everything going down, and my wonderful girlfriend, of course, was there to comfort me during my time of grief and said she would drive me to the airport the next morning so that I could catch my flight, but suggested we sleep over to her place because it was more convenient and closer to the airport, so we did. Now, I want to bring up here again that I'm not over there often, and it's rare that I sleep over there because they've got some rules with guys sleeping over, obviously, since they don't own the house, but under the circumstances, my girlfriend didn't obviously care for that, and she took me over anyways. So I packed up my stuff to prepare for my flight home the next morning, grabbed my coat, and walked out the door with her and drove over. Now the thing was, Johnny and Mia were actually gone on a vacation, so the only person sharing the house at the moment was Heather. However, it was about 1 a.m. in the morning, and she was more than likely asleep, so she hopefully wasn't going to be a bother. As we got over to the house, we grabbed the tea, and I quietly brought my book bag and luggage down into her room before going to bed, as Heather's room happened to be right next to hers. As I brought my stuff down, I want to emphasize on how quiet I was. We go into her room and close the door slowly. But all of a sudden, we hear a door down the hall open rapidly, and suddenly a loud and angry knock is on my girlfriend's room door. It was Heather about 1:30 a.m. in the morning, and she so condescendingly said, "Can you guys keep it down? I have work at 7 a.m. in the morning. Sheesh." She then proceeds to go back into her room and slams the door. I was just standing there amazed at how petty this girl was getting on with, considering we barely made any noise at all. But it was more or less whatever, and we continued to go about our night. Not even 10 minutes later, myself and my girlfriend were just having a very slight, quiet chat about things and what I planned on doing when I had gone back home, when we suddenly hear a loud scream come from the other room. It was Heather, who we could hear very clearly, who called up one of her friends to literally rant about us. All we could hear was Heather yelling, "Oh my god, I cannot sleep!" making it very clear that she wanted us to hear her ranting about us. From what we heard, she was getting all upset and angry over the fact that a boy was over, which was me, obviously, and that they had rules that this wasn't allowed. But this girl was just ripping on us the entire time without realizing the fact that I was there for a good reason. I sat there in amazement as I had witnessed for the first time this Heather girl get on with the most ridiculous nonsense over the situation. And this woman is 32, might I add. My girlfriend, however, was not impressed. She got so fed up with her that during the middle of Heather's call, she went to her room and confronted her by telling her to stop. Heather retaliated by saying that she's upset now and can't sleep because of all of this, and that she has work in the morning, and to be quite honest, she literally had nothing more to say than that. My girlfriend, however, had told her to keep it down because I had a flight the next morning under the situation that was going on, but she continued to be petty as she needed to emphasize that she's upset with us and that it's our fault over the fact that I'm here and that she's going to be talking to the landlord tomorrow about all this. My girlfriend ignored her and essentially repeated herself, telling her to keep it down, and then Heather had finally backed off. My girlfriend then comes back into the room and apologizes for the way she's been acting, and luckily, Heather did stop being loud and finally goes to bed. As awkward as things had been, I was more in amazement at the fact that I had finally witnessed Heather get on like she did, as I said to my girlfriend that this was quite an awkward situation. To which she replied, "Yeah, it totally is, and you should make a video about it and get it animated." That's my girl, and so here I am. My girlfriend believes she acted the way she did because she was jealous that I was over, because Heather apparently has it out against her, but it was pretty terrible she acted the way she did, literally for no good reason, especially under the circumstances. But what do you do? There are just some terrible people out there, I guess. Either way, my girlfriend is very close with the landlord, and this ended up not being an issue with them after, and I got a good story out of it for you guys, so no harm done. Is there a lesson to learn from this? Maybe don't be such a crude and petty person over such a docile reason. Considering the context of why I was over, you'd think she'd be a little more considerate and stop being so cruel, but since when does a selfish person put others before them anyways? So, don't be like Heather. Be considerate. Be kind. Living with roommates can sometimes be aggravating since you're sharing space with each other, but you gotta remember the world doesn't just revolve around you. We all go through hard times, so just remember to always set aside your differences under serious circumstances, and don't be a terrible person for your own selfish reasons, because at the end of the day, we're all just human and we all go through different things in different ways. So strive to live your life in a benevolent way and take one step closer to being a better person.